teams stacked up against one another. Interesting note, though, from our research team here, Celtics current players with experience in the NBA Finals, 0 games between them. Warriors current players, 123 games of NBA Finals experience heading into this one. Let's welcome in NBA champ Rip Hamilton to get us ready for the finals. Rip, which team is under more pressure to win the whole thing?
Amanda, that's tough. But if I had to go with a team, I would have to go with the Boston Celtics. And the reason why is when you look at the Eastern Conference, it's a very tough conference. I think it's more tougher than the Western Conference. And you look at teams like the Brooklyn Nets, a team that didn't have Ben Simmons for the entire year. So knowing that they're going to get a full training camp with him, it's going to be a problem next season. There's no guarantee that Boston will be back at this point next year, especially when you look at Milwaukee Bucks, Chris Middleton being out in the playoffs and not being another driver, another guy that they can have on their team that can initiate the offense. So when you look at the Boston Celtics, I feel as though that, yes, they had a storybook ending of the season. They started out slow, but Al Horford is not getting any younger. I thought he's a guy that's a very underrated player on their roster. But if I had to pick one of the two, I would have to say the Boston Celtics. Just knowing if everyone's healthy in the East, there's no guarantee that the Celtics will be here next year.
Throughout this postseason, we've seen different players on both of these teams step up at different times. We asked you to rank the top 10 players in the NBA Finals. Show us your list.
Oh no, it was pretty tough, Amanda. When you look at it,
it looks pretty even.
I got to go with Steph at 1. I mean, I was fighting with, do I pick Steph at 1 or put Jason Tatum at the number 1 spot? Just knowing how Jason Tatum really put this team on his back, really stepped up, and in my opinion, is a top 10 player in the NBA. Got Jaylen Brown at 3, who's been great for the Celtics. Sometimes he's been the primary scorer for that team. Got Draymond Green at 4. We know how great he is on the defense, and he's a security blanket for them. Klay Thompson, I mean, Game 6, Klay really stepped up. A guy that can really win a couple games for you. Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, guy that's really took the ownership of moving to the point guard position full time. Jordan Poole, guy that's really been stepping up for them. Al Horford, a guy that I believe that it was probably one of their MVPs, especially in the playoffs, that nobody's really talked about. Andrew Wiggins at 9, and I picked Robert Williams at 10.
Hey, it's 5-5 though, so that's pretty even. I'm not sure how even you think this series is going to be, but I do want to get your pick to win, and feel free to throw out the amount of games if you have an idea there too.
Well, this is going to be a fun matchup. I'm going with the Golden State Warriors. I just think that this team has been connected by the hip ever since the playoffs have started, especially when they got healthy. They can beat you in different aspects of the game. Defensively, they're just as good as Boston Celtics. I mean, Boston is they're 1 and 2 when you look at defense efficiency in the NBA. But I just think they got too much. And the one matchup that I always seen that teams really exploited, especially in the NBA Finals, was whoever was going against Steph Curry. They were trying to wear him down defensively. Just knowing where he is on the floor. Usually there's a guy at the point guard position that can score in bundles. And I don't think Boston has that. So I feel as though that Steph Curry is going to get a lot of rest on the defensive end. So you look to see a Boston trying to put him in pick and roll situations where they will force him to switch, but look for him to go under screens or fight over top of it or show and get back to his man. So it's just my opinion that Golden State has too much. When you go small in this ball club, when you bring Jordan Poole in, you're playing Jordan Poole, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, and Wiggins with Draymond at the 5, it's going to be hard for Boston to match up with that, just knowing that they love to go big with Al Horford and Williams, especially in their front court.
And not just that, Steph is not stressed. I saw a picture of him on social media today. He's walking out of somewhere with like 15 golf clubs, like with a smile. He is chilling, right? He is good to go. Okay, and maybe this is a look into the future, your pick to win Finals MVP.
I'm going to go with Steph Curry, a guy that doesn't have an MVP Finals on his resume. I just believe that this is the perfect team for him to match up against in the playoffs, knowing that you got the resurgence of Jordan Poole, another guy that can take on some of the pressure defensively, and the Boston is going to have to worry about another guy on the perimeter. I just feel as though that when you look at Boston Celtics, they're going to do a great job of really trying to come out and muck up the game. They're a very physical team, but when you have spacing and you have a lot of scores and you got a lot of guys that move without the ball, I just feel as though it's going to free up Steph Curry. You know they got Marcus Smart as Defensive Player of the Year, but who else on the wing is going to be able to slow Steph Curry down when you got other guys like Jordan Poole and Wiggins playing well and Klay Thompson getting hot? I just feel as though the matchup for him this series is going to be beneficial to him to go out and get that MVP.
I'm curious because earlier you said, I don't know if the Celtics can do this again, though, but what team, and maybe you think it is the Celtics, can have more success, continued success, I should say, after the season's done?
Well, I like Miami, Amanda. I really do. No Tyler Hero, especially in the last couple of games in that playoff series. I think that really hurt him because teams like when you're a great defensive team like the Boston Celtics, you can boggle down when you on defense and kind of really slow down their main scorer. And they tried to with Jimmy Butler, who had a great series, but he had to play 48 minutes. There was no rest for him. And when you got another guy like Tyler Hero, you can now get Jimmy a couple extra minutes off the floor because you got a guy out there that you can run the offense around just by moving out the ball, coming off pin downs, coming off screens. And you got to look at the Brooklyn Nets. Ben Simmons coming to this ball club and knowing his impact on the floor with having Kyrie and Kevin Durant out on the floor. I think that you get them guys in a healthy situation and having them a part of your team all season long, good things can happen for them. So there's other teams in the Eastern Conference that can make some noise, especially next season.
Yeah, the Nets still got to figure out all that drama, though, with their big three. But they are up there. The odds are already out for 2023, and they're right up there with the Warriors. Tyler Hero is a hero down here in South Florida, though. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.